The mistress my husband brought home was visibly pregnant. My mother-in-law looked utterly disgusted. My husband had a nasty smirk on his face. Had he always been capable of such an unpleasant smile? He wasn't this inconsiderate when we first met. Just to be clear, that baby in her belly. I began. That's right. It's my child. You're 9 months along now, aren't you? He said. Your child? Really? That's what I said, isn't it? Get lost, you defective, infertile woman. His mistress was grinning with obvious delight. My husband was bad enough, but this woman was just as terrible. What an awful personality. They were clearly enjoying this situation. Both my husband and this woman needed to be taught a lesson. He probably thought I knew nothing. Little did he know, I was far more informed than he was. Fine, but you can't be a father. After all, that baby isn't yours. The smug smile vanished from my husband's face. He looked shocked by my words. His mistress had turned pale. The tables had turned. I now had the upper hand. I decided to reveal the mistress's secret to my bewildered husband. My name is Odette, and I'm 31 years old. I work as an office administrator at a company that manufactures vinyl products. I reconnected with Aaron, my college classmate, through work about 3 years ago. Wait, Odette? You work here, he had said. Aaron. It's been so long. Back in college, Aaron and I were in the same light music club. After we started dating, we got married about 6 months later. Aaron had already lost his father to illness, and I didn't have a mother. My mother had passed away in a traffic accident during her morning commute when I was young. My mother-in-law was very kind and treated me like her own daughter, as I had never known a mother's warmth. I look forward to our life together, Odette, she had said. Me too, mother. Please take good care of me. That's how our happy marriage began. But the contentment didn't last long. Soon, I would experience pain because of my husband. The problem we faced as a couple was our inability to conceive. After 2.5 years of marriage, I still hadn't gotten pregnant. This is strange. We've been trying so hard, I said. Yes, maybe we should get properly checked, he replied. For women under 30, infertility cases are less than 10%. Thinking I might be in that 10%, I got tested. The results showed no problems. The female doctor at the clinic gave me a clean bill of health. So I suggested Aaron should get tested too, but don't be ridiculous. My friend told me that in 90% of infertility cases, it's the woman's fault. I've always been healthy, there's nothing wrong with me. Testing would be pointless. He absolutely refused to get tested. His prejudice about infertility, his arrogant attitude, his childish reasoning, I was completely disappointed by my uncooperative and selfish husband. What's more, he had the nerve to keep pressuring me about having children. My colleague who got married around the same time is about to have his second child. What are you doing? Get it together. Stop blaming just me. You haven't even gotten tested. Arguments between us increased. Our relationship became increasingly strained, and eventually, we stopped talking altogether. Naturally, in such a situation, we couldn't even try to have children. That's when my husband's selfish behavior started escalating. He began spending money recklessly and staying out late. He said work was busy, but I wasn't sure if that was true. His pay stubs showed hardly any change, so it was probably a lie. What concerned me was how he suddenly started paying extra attention to his appearance. He was being as careful about his looks as when we first started dating. Hey, you're not having an affair, are you? What? Of course not. Think before you speak. This man was definitely having an affair. In that brief moment before he answered, I was certain of it. Who was she? How old? How long had they been seeing each other? How many days? How many months? The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. I reached a point where I didn't care about anything anymore. While I was in that state of mind, my husband's selfish behavior continued to escalate. Hey! That's enough. Stop wasting money. What do you mean, wasting money? What are you talking about? You bought women's clothes and shoes with the credit card, didn't you? I checked the statements carefully, you know. So what? Stop acting like a stalker. What stalker? What wife wouldn't care about what her husband was buying with their credit card? I certainly cared, especially if he might be spending it on another woman. Maybe he didn't like being confronted so harshly. Eventually, he almost stopped coming home altogether. My husband had completely lost respect for me. No matter how much I warned him, he wouldn't listen. So I decided to confide in my mother-in-law. I made an appointment and visited her house alone. She nodded as she listened to me describe her son's bad behavior. When I finished speaking, she bowed deeply. I'm sorry, Odette. I must have made mistakes in raising him. Please raise your head, mother. This isn't your fault at all. I had no intention of blaming my mother-in-law. The one at fault was my husband, who had unilaterally changed his attitude and become arrogant. He was a grown man, he should act more sensibly. When I said this, my mother-in-law sighed deeply and said, well, I hate to say this, but Aaron must take after his father. His reckless spending is just like my husband's. At this rate, we should call Aaron here and scold him directly. My mother-in-law immediately summoned my husband. He probably knew what he was going to hear. When he finally showed up, his face couldn't have looked more annoyed. Aaron. Are you even slightly sorry for causing Odette so much pain? Tell me what you're spending money on. It doesn't matter. It's none of your business, Mom. Of course it's my business. Ugh. How annoying. Just leave me alone. My husband left, clearly fed up. Afterward, my mother-in-law advised me to investigate his activities. If he wouldn't tell us, we should find out ourselves. Actually, I had been planning to do that even before she suggested it. I would hire professionals to find out what my husband was hiding. I was prepared to accept whatever truth came to light. As it turned out, my mother-in-law had once hired investigators to look into my late father-in-law. It was shortly after their marriage, and the investigation revealed his affair. My father-in-law was quite surprised when my mother-in-law mentioned his mistress's name. My husband didn't think I knew everything. He was quite shocked. It felt good to get that off my chest. I think something similar might happen in my case. It's just my intuition, but I'm sure Aaron is having an affair. He doesn't seem to be trying very hard to hide it. That part was particularly unsettling. What was my husband thinking? Anyway, having evidence would be useful if things came to a head. I hired the detective agency my mother-in-law recommended to investigate my husband's behavior. The results, of course, confirmed his infidelity. My husband, who had stopped coming home, was apparently living with his mistress. I decided to have the investigators look into this mistress in detail. A few weeks later, my mother-in-law contacted me. She said my husband was planning to visit his family home next week. He says he has someone he wants me to meet. Thank you for letting me know, Mother. Would it be alright if I came too? I'd like to talk to Aaron directly. Of course. Let me know if there's anything I can help with. No matter what Aaron says, I'm on your side. Yes. Thank you so much. It was easy to imagine who my husband wanted his mother to meet. His mistress. My husband probably planned to divorce me and remarry his mistress. He wanted to introduce her to his mother first, perhaps hoping to win her over. Knowing this, I needed to prepare an appropriate counter-strategy. I immediately contacted a certain person and made arrangements for their cooperation. The weather was stormy that day, symbolic of the turbulent times ahead. When I arrived at my in-laws' house, there was an unfamiliar car in the parking lot. It had to be my husband's mistress's car, matching the description in the detective agency's report. As soon as I opened the front door, I heard my mother-in-law scolding my husband from the living room. He must have done something quite inappropriate. I quickly arranged my shoes and hurried to the living room. What are you thinking? Don't you feel any remorse towards Odette? Why should I? She's the one who won't have children. Oh, Odette. You came too? Mom called you? We were just talking about you. It's been a while, Aaron. And next to my husband sat a woman who appeared to be around our age. She was dressed flashily, a complete contrast to my appearance. She glanced at me and smiled triumphantly. What an unpleasant smile. Nice to meet you. I'm Terry, Aaron's girlfriend. You must be Odette. Perfect timing. I have something to give you. Right, Aaron? Oh, right. Here. I've signed my part. What they handed me was divorce papers. Terry's smug expression was infuriating. Her face showed absolute confidence in her victory. The source of that confidence must be her belly. Terry was visibly pregnant. Terry smiled when she noticed my gaze. My husband reached out to lovingly stroke her belly. Just to be clear, is the baby in her belly? That's right. It's my child. You're 9 months along now, aren't you? Your child? Really? That's what I said, isn't it? Get lost, you defective, infertile woman. Terry was grinning with obvious delight. My husband was bad enough, but this woman was just as terrible. What an appalling personality. They were clearly enjoying this situation. Both my husband and this woman needed to be taught a lesson. Come to think of it, my husband was a pitiful man. He probably thought I had come here knowing nothing. Little did he know, I was far more informed than he was. Fine, but you can't be a father. After all, that baby isn't yours, it's Colin's child. Right, Terry? What? How? Terry was dumbfounded, and my husband beside her looked equally shocked. My words, made credible by the specific name, had thrown them both into confusion. Are you surprised I know about Colin? You've been married to him for about 4 years, haven't you? Are you sure it's safe to be betraying him like this? Who's Colin? I don't know anyone by that name. Playing dumb? Do you think that will work? Unbelievable. You still don't seem to understand your position. I took out some documents from my bag, the investigation results from the detective agency. As I began reading the facts, the color drained from Terry's face. You're originally from Arizona. You came to New York for college. You took out loans for plastic surgery and started working at a strip club. You dropped out of college. You're a textbook case of a downward spiral. The strip club is where you met Colin. Isn't that also where you met Aaron? What? How dare you investigate me like this? This is unbelievable. Isn't it normal to want to know more about your husband's mistress once you find out he's having an affair? Besides, you're admitting everything I said is true. I can keep reading if you'd like. Stop it. Don't say anything more. Terry was clearly distressed. This reaction alone was enough. It was as good as admitting there was no lie in my words. My husband stared at his mistress's profile in shock. He seemed unable to accept the fact that he had been deceived. That can't be true, right, Terry? You're not married, are you? You're going to marry me, right? I don't know what lies she's been feeding you, but it's time to wake up, Aaron. She's made a habit of deceiving men, taking their money, and then disappearing. That's what she's been doing all along. Don't make me sound so terrible. Aaron, don't believe what she's saying. She's the liar. She's the one telling lies. Well, but, then why are you so flustered? It's because you have something to hide, right? Because what Odette is saying is true, isn't it? What's going on? Poor Aaron. He hadn't realized he was being played. When I investigated Terry, her maliciousness made me sick. This woman loved manipulating men to do her bidding. She was an evil woman who always needed a convenient man to satisfy her desires. She targeted men who were reasonably good-looking, well-paid, and playful, but not too bright. This woman is just trying to destroy our relationship. She's making things up. After all, where's her proof? But we have this baby. The fruit of our love. Please believe me. What fruit of love? You know very well whose baby that really is. I showed my husband and Terry a photograph. It was part of the evidence, taken by the detective agency's staff. It showed Terry entering an obstetrics clinic. Next to her was a muscular, tough-looking man. That was Colin. You regularly visit the clinic with your husband like this. I have plenty more evidence photos. Would you like to see them? This is infuriating. Stop taking secret pictures. Terry looked ready to pounce on me. She must be extremely frustrated at having her scheme exposed. Ignoring her, I turned to my stunned husband. Aaron, you likely have fertility issues. If there's nothing wrong with me, then naturally, if there's a problem, it must be with you. Just get tested once. But I'm so healthy. There are plenty of healthy people in the world who are infertile. You should face reality sooner rather than later. Well, it doesn't matter to me anymore. I had the divorce papers in my hand. Once I submitted these to City Hall, my relationship with my husband would be over. Even though he had been deceived by Terry, I had no desire to reconcile with him. He had belittled and mocked me. Get lost, you defective, infertile woman? Gladly. I was prepared to divorce my husband and start a new life. But there was something I needed to do first. Terry, tell us the truth from your own mouth. The truth? Yes. How you met Aaron. Why you targeted him. And your future plans. Specifically, when and how were you planning to break up with Aaron? Terry's expression hardened, and she showed no sign of starting to talk no matter how long I waited. So I decided to tell the story for her. The strip club your friend runs is Terry's hunting ground. You find your prey there, approach them, and size them up. Background, history, income, troubles. You extract all sorts of information. Stop it. Don't talk like you were there. Am I lying? No, right? Everything is true. You've been using men like this since you were 18. Is your inability to settle down with one person because of your father's influence? Your father was quite the playboy and caused you and your mother a lot of pain, didn't he? How far did you investigate? Stop it already. Terry's face no longer showed any composure. Bloodshot eyes, tears welling up, half-open mouth, rough breathing. She looked at me like a cornered animal. This pregnancy must be a turning point for Terry too. For the sake of her baby, she needs to atone for her past sins. Meeting Colin was kind of your last chance. You thought you might never find another man like Colin, with his looks and income. So you married him, and then you got pregnant. That's a lie. Right, Terry? But you couldn't easily give up the game of playing with men that you'd been doing for nearly 10 years. And Aaron was the last prey you set your sights on. Isn't that right? Suddenly, Terry's expression went blank. Her eyes showed a determination to make a comeback. Terry picked up the evidence photo from the table and snorted. This isn't even me. I don't wear my hair like that. What are you talking about? This is definitely you. No, it's not me. It looks similar, but it's someone else. I don't even own clothes like that. Right, Aaron, have you ever seen me wear this? No, I don't think so. Men's memories about women's clothing can't be relied upon. Terry seemed well aware of this and was using it to her advantage. Bold and cunning, as expected of a woman who had deceived many men for over 10 years. Having regained her composure, Terry pressed her advantage. You probably hired a detective agency or something, but are they really trustworthy? Were you deceived? No matter what you say, I'm devoted only to Aaron. Stop interfering. First of all, Terry is such a successful businesswoman that she can hardly come home because she's so busy. Odette, there's no way she could be married to another man like you're suggesting. Oh, really? So you think Terry is a business owner? You believe you moved into Terry's house, and she rarely comes home because she's busy? My husband seemed to completely believe Terry's lies. He had indeed moved into Terry's house, but her being a business owner was a lie. It was time to wake him up. I secretly sent an email to someone. Soon the doorbell rang, and my mother-in-law went to answer it. I wonder what exchange took place at the door. My mother-in-law returned quickly. I'll never forget Terry's pale face when she saw the man my mother-in-law brought in. Colin? Why are you here? That's my line. Terry, weren't you supposed to be at your parents' house? Colin was what you might call a semi-gangster. He was apparently known as quite a fearsome figure in the area. Indeed, his face was intimidating, his build was impressive, and tattoos peeked out from his neck. If it came to a fight, my weak Aaron wouldn't stand a chance. Terry turned deathly pale and began trembling when Colin glared at her. I'm telling you to explain because I won't understand otherwise. Terry, why are you here? Who's this man next to you? Wait, Colin. This isn't what it looks like. Tell me step by step what's not what it looks like. If I can understand, that's fine. We'll just go home and be done with it. But if I'm not convinced, you'd better be prepared. You know I have lots of reliable friends, right? I'll ask them to beat you to a pulp. Please wait. This isn't like that. This is different. My hidden card was Terry's husband, Colin. Faced with this unexpected opponent, Terry was completely flustered. For me, getting in touch with Colin and making him an ally had been a risky gamble. If I had provided him information carelessly, Terry might have found out. But I had evidence of the affair, and Colin was level-headed, quietly cooperating with me. No matter what excuses Terry made now, she probably couldn't clear away his suspicions. What would the cornered Terry do? She acted exactly as I had predicted. She abandoned Aaron. Terry stood up, ran to Colin, and burst into tears. I was scared. He's been threatening me. He had something to hold over me, forced his way into my house, and I couldn't do anything about it. What? Wait a minute. I was threatening Terry? For what? You were after my body and my savings, weren't you? But when I got pregnant with Colin's baby, you decided to at least take my money and stayed at my house. Isn't that right? That's nonsense. What's going on? Who is this man? Isn't the baby mine? My husband looked completely lost. To my eyes, he seemed more ridiculous than pitiful. It served him right to be betrayed by the woman he had betrayed his wife for. Meanwhile, Colin remained calm. He showed no sign of being moved by Terry's tears. I had shared part of the detective agency's investigation results with Colin. With irrefutable evidence already in hand, he wouldn't be fooled by Terry's lies. The house you're talking about, is it your parents' house in Arizona? No, it's not, is it? It's the house here, right? The one you got from your relative? You let this man live there, didn't you? I've been living in Terry's house. But it's supposed to be a house she bought herself. Not one inherited from relatives. She bought it with money she earned as a business owner. Shut up. You're making this complicated. Hey, you, listen carefully. You've been deceived. This woman is a huge liar. The baby in her belly is mine, and you moved into a house that belonged to her relative. Also, this woman isn't a business owner. She's unemployed. Has been since she married me. Truth after truth came to light. Perhaps unable to keep up, my husband looked dazed. His half-open mouth looked quite pathetic. He seemed unable to accept the facts. You stupid fool. Be prepared to seriously regret laying hands on my woman, you hear? I'll make sure of it. But I was deceived. Does that matter? You did what you did, didn't you? Then of course you'll have to face the consequences. I'll beat you to a pulp and then make you pay compensation. You too, Terry. You lying woman. How dare you betray me? Wait. I'm sorry. Colin. It was a moment of weakness. Please don't be angry. Terry's pleas seemed unlikely to reach Colin. He was now in a state of excitement, clearly angry. He looked ready to call his friends and beat up Terry and my husband right there. Colin shoved Terry towards my husband and glared at them both with a terrifying expression. I'll call your company too. Ask them what they think about their employee having an affair. Please wait. The company has nothing to do with this. Shut up. How would I know what has to do with it? This is about how I feel. I won't be satisfied until I've destroyed your life. That goes for you too, Terry. No. Please forgive me. I won't do it again. Probably because she knew how frightening Colin could be, Terry was already half crying, desperately begging for forgiveness. It was clear from Colin's face that her prayers wouldn't be answered. It would probably be difficult to calm down or persuade someone this angry. At a complete loss, my husband unbelievably turned to me for help. Odette, please. Help me. Tell this man. I was deceived by Terry. If I had known she was married, I would never have touched her. I think it's too late for that. You did what you did, right? If you're truly sorry, you should show it through your actions, by getting properly beaten up. I don't want to get beaten up. Mom. Say something. Your son is going to get hurt. You brought this on yourself. A cheating man trying to make excuses, you're just like your father. Getting hurt, desperately apologizing, and properly reflecting on your actions is what you need. Rejected by everyone, my husband slumped in defeat. Afterward, he apologized to me numerous times and expressed words of regret. But if he thought such words would be believed now, he was sorely mistaken. I pushed him away mercilessly and had no further discussion with him. I'm going to submit these divorce papers now. What? No. Why are you so surprised? You're the one who presented me with divorce papers, remember? The situation has changed. Please wait. I'm sorry. I apologize. Being sued for damages and having his affair exposed at work, what would happen? My husband would probably lose his position at work and his savings. Perhaps this would become an opportunity for Colin and his friends to leech off him. If that happened, it would be terrible. My husband would spend the rest of his life as an ATM for Colin and his friends. Probably aware of this, his expression was desperate as he begged me and his mother for help. But it was all too late. I later formally divorced my husband, and his mother cut ties with him as well. Colin didn't forgive his unfaithful wife. He divorced Terry after she gave birth, made her take on debt, and banished her. He apparently forced her to live as a single mother. Terry had all her valuable possessions sold off by Colin and returned to Arizona penniless. I can only hope that her innocent child grows up healthy in the natural beauty of Arizona. Aaron's fate was even more miserable. Colin was a man of his word and contacted Aaron's workplace about the affair. He apparently yelled at the president, "What kind of employee training are you doing?" It's surprising. The president had nothing to do with Aaron's affair. Still, the president apologized sincerely. After the phone call with Colin, he called Aaron in to confirm the facts and scolded him. Aaron was reportedly nearly in tears when he was labeled a good-for-nothing adulterer in front of all the employees. Aaron, now viewed with suspicion by both the president and his colleagues, lost all credibility and was transferred to a dead-end position, falling from his career track. Because he had to take out loans to pay the substantial compensation, he couldn't easily quit his job. Now, he reportedly continues working in complete isolation at the company, suffering every day. Isn't this a fitting end for a man who betrayed his wife? Although personally, I hope Aaron faces even worse hardships. His painfully difficult daily life, Aaron's mother is the one who tells me all the details. She made a special visit to see me and bowed her head again. I'm so sorry that my foolish son caused you such unpleasant experiences and wasted years of your life. I don't even know how to apologize properly anymore. No, it's not your fault. Please don't worry about it. I'm fine. Yes, you're right. You're so capable, I'm sure you'll be fine. Say, Odette, would you like to meet my acquaintance's son? He's a business owner, divorced with no children, and about your age. Really? Such a person exists? I'd love to meet him. Aaron's mother smiled, saying she was glad to see me doing well. After that, through her introduction, I would meet my future husband. He has a quiet personality, doesn't talk much, but is a kind-hearted, good person. He runs several companies, so there are no financial worries. I sometimes think this current happiness exists thanks to Aaron's affair. Life is unpredictable. However, the fate of those who live dishonestly is clear enough without looking at Aaron's example. I believe being honest with your partner is an absolute requirement for living a rich life. With this lesson etched in my heart, I intend to continue living humbly and honestly.